Greetings and welcome, my friends, to Deep Space Nine and to this Star Trek Online stats review video hosted by ShadowStar. And please allow me to give thanks to the people whose generosity has helped to make this video possible. Negus, Dante Demonic, Sky Hawkins, Tribal Typhoon, XG Blackbird, Travis Games, Spike, Captain Riggs, Fox Plays Games, Miss Future Teach, and Lord Arminger, who, at their gracious donations, have made it so that I can introduce you to this, the Cygnus Battlecruiser. Oh, it feels fun to say that about a Galaxy class. But I have to be honest, I'm a little disappointed, and I will be honest with you straight off the back on that one. Though this ship has got some extreme positives to it, and I really do mean that, there are some niggling negatives that lead me to question, is it actually, if this is the only ship you're interested in the bundle, is it actually worth getting for anything beyond Space Barbie? And that is the ultimate question right now. We have a ship that is part of a very, very, very nice bundle, I will be honest. The bundle that allows you to acquire not just this ship, but 4 others for £80 while on sale, and about £180 when the sale has ended. This 12th anniversary bundle gives us access to some startlingly good ships. The Trailblazer is amazing, the Adamant is amazing, the Lexington is amazing, the Cygnus is a little bit underwhelming. Now, I will add to this right now that you do also gain the Mirror Strikewing Escort, which was originally a lockbox ship, and thus something that could have cost you anywhere between £100 to £300 in the average gamble to try and get this ship. The fact that it is now account-wide unlocked as part of a bundle that you can pick up for either £100 or £120 is amazing to me. Expensive to buy the bundle at full price, yes, but what you get in it, well, first of all, you get a tier 6 coupon in the bundle, allowing you access to any tier 6 ship, so long as it's not too new, though funny enough you've been able to use tier 6 coupons on these ships individually. But you also gain access to another 4 lockbox ships from the bundle that this Terran Cygnus Battlecruiser is in. That on its own takes this bundle up to a value of £100 right there. That's not including the extras you get with it. Hell, if you're lucky with those 12 master keys, you may even gain access to another ship that's from a lockbox that equally is worth around the same as the Earhart. The bundle isn't to be shunned. The bundle is very, very good and very worth picking up. You get a lot of good consoles and a lot of good traits. I just wish this one got a little bit of love shown to it. I'm going to be straight up and honest with you, okay? Because I need to be. I need to be. This ship is essentially on par to the legendary Ross Command Exploration Cruiser. So if you already have the legendary Galaxy class, which is a very, very expensive ship to get your hands on, as it's not sold individually, it is part of a anniversary bundle, the 10th anniversary bundle, and unfortunately that bundle was hell on earth. Unlike this one, all the ships are clustered together, so really you need to be wanting at least 4 of the ships to be picking up this 10 ship bundle. But if you do have the legendary Ross, then I'm telling you right now, you have a ship that is better than this one. Right now, guys, please hear this out. If you have the legendary Ross, this ship is not worth picking up. Unless it's for Space Barbie. But this is the only ship in the bundle that I would say isn't really worth it if you've got something in the past. If you have the Fleet Andromeda, the Fleet Tier 6, I will also now on that one, that ship is almost as powerful as this one. Though admittedly, the Fleet Andromeda will cost you a bit more to get, because not only do you need the fleet modules and the requirements from a fleet in order to pick it from your fleet to be able to pick this ship up, you also need, I believe, to own the Zen version of the ship. And if that is the case, then yeah, it costs you more to get it. And the Fleet Andromeda is not as tanky, is not, well, is as maneuverable, it's the exact same maneuverability, but is not any more powerful than this ship. So I've dragged this on a bit too long, I think. Let's actually focus on the stats. So, the actual stats that we should be questioning right now, should be looking at, are the Terran Cygnus Battlecruiser stats. As this ship is a Tier 6 Battlecruiser with a level 65 hull of 68,625. The hull modifier is 1.525. The shield modifier is 1.25. The turn rate is 6, inertia rating of 30, and impulse modifier of 15. Impulse modifier of 14. The bonus power to weapons and shields is 10. She has 5 forward and 3 aft weapons. You know, the weapon layout everyone wanted for the Lexington. God, the Lexington should have got that layout with its turn speed. She is a temple type ship, so she has access to the molecular reconstruction beam, which makes a lot of sense for this ship. Let's be fair, the Galaxy class did run into its fair share of temporal anomalies. Actually, almost as many as the NX. She has 3 device slots, and her console layout is the same as the Legendary and the Fleet. Her console layout is 5 engineering, 3 tactical, 3 science. Wow. Her bridge officer layout. Her bridge officer layout is a commander engineering with temporal specialization, 2 lieutenants, 1 tactical, 1 science. 3 lieutenants, 2 tacticals, 1 science, and one of those tacticals has command specialization, and then a lieutenant commander that is universal. Yay, no ensign seating. Probably something that makes this ship actually a little bit better than the Legendary Ross. Overall, what we have here from this ship is a ship that should be extremely strong as a whole tank. Very strong, definitely along lines of the Legendary Ross, which I'm assuming I got lucky, because after doing the test of this ship, I did go and watch a couple of other YouTubers and see what that takes, and one of them did actually find that she wasn't actually sticking up to par as far as damage taking goes. That concerned me. But one thing I have noticed from all of us is we've all commented on her turn speed. Now, this is a battlecruiser. This is a forward-biased ship. A turn rate of 6, yes, is on par with the other galaxies, but is not right for this ship. This ship should have at least had a turn rate of 8, if not 9. And I am so mad at Cryptic for making that turn rate so damn low. Because it's completely negated this ship. What would have made this ship so good as being outright negated. She's a battlecruiser. Her whole modifier should have come down, and her turn rate should have gone up. But we are sitting on a ship that has definitely decent support capabilities, especially once you X upgrade it, and definitely has the potential to be a very strong tank from what I've been able to creme out of her. But give me a second. I can't show it properly like this. I'm just literally going to show you on the screen as I'm looking at them. So here's what I'm seeing, people. Our ship in question, the ship of the video, is in the middle. I'm looking left and thinking to myself, good. It's able to match or surpass the tanking capabilities of the fleet. Easily so, actually. So good. The Cygnus beats the fleet tanking, which it should be doing as a newer Terran ship. And it's unfortunately doesn't sit on par with the support capabilities of the Cygnus. So the Cygnus does definitely surpass it in support capabilities. Furthermore, the fleet version of this only has one specialty seat, and as much as that is a Lieutenant Commander Engineering with command specialization on the fleet, that doesn't outright surpass having two specializations over on the Cygnus. So DPS wise, these two are about on par with each other. The main reason they're on par with each other though is because that this ship cannot fully, the Cygnus cannot fully utilize its forward bias arc to get the true DPS capabilities this ship should have. Now, I was hoping this battlecruiser would actually be slightly weaker than the fleet in tanking and better, definitely better than it in DPS. What we ended up there in the end with is me swiping that one out and looking and focusing more on the Ross. The Ross being actually tougher endurance-wise, hull-wise, but weaker shield-wise. I'm not entirely sure how that makes sense considering Terran. I would have expected, again, it to be weaker defensively than the Ross, considerably, because it would be augmenting for more firepower. Same turn rate, but slightly weaker impulse modifier. The Ross has the bonus power to all settings of 5, where this one focuses on the weapons and shields. So, again, for some reason, the Terran Battlecruiser is definitely more defensive and offensive, but that's fine, it should be. Same same console layout, less device slots, and then I saw it and went, well, yes, the Ross costs more, you'd expect it to have better seating. But this is sizably better seating. DPS-wise, at least. Because you have not one, but 2 command seats. And with 2 command specializations, and one of those command specializations being on the commander itself, the Ross definitely has the more potential DPS-wise than the Cygnus Battlecruiser. However, again, the Cygnus Battlecruiser has the superior support capabilities, which has led me down the runs, to viewing the ship very, very, I want to say I'm being pragmatic here, but I'm probably just being harsh. My viewpoint is this: stats-wise, she's not up to form. She should have been more, she should have had more offensive power, more maneuverability, and sacrificed some of that cruiser tankiness. That's what she should have done. She doesn't. I like the fact that her support is improved because I'm a support player, but I'm not expecting support capabilities from a battlecruiser. And if I am expecting support capabilities from a battlecruiser, it's from a battlecruiser that can actually turn. As a result, you can guess, I'm very much on par with a lot of other YouTubers right now. I'm underwhelmed. I'm not happy. But hey, 4 out of 5 ain't bad. 4 out of 5 absolutely blew my mind. Just one. But it's my Galaxy. Can we get off this subject now? I need to get off the subject because the Galaxy class is my favourite and I'm biased towards it, so I'm actually angry at myself for not being happy. So yeah, we're going to now take a look at hopefully a positive mark. Depends on your viewpoints. One yes, the other one is a bit meh. Do you want to see what I mean about the turn rate? Okay. Well, isn't this fun? I've made myself feel better by putting the Galaxy class on my screen. The mirror one, but the Galaxy class. Now, honestly, if I'm going to be straight with you right now, I am very suspicious that this is actually bugged. And I'm saying that with reason. Now, please, while I quickly grab a couple of things, please hear me out on this. First of all, the way the ship is performing doesn't really match up with previous iterations. You see, if I was to do this similar build that I've got on this ship on my Galaxy X Dreadnought or on my Legendary Ross, which I have done, the first things I noticed, and this is probably the really bad part, the first things I noticed is that they actually turn faster. Kinda wish I showed it in the testing video. I forgot to consider doing so. But what I ended up finding was, the long and short of it was this. If I modify out the speed and turn rate of this specific ship, the Cygnus, she won't turn faster. But if I do the exact same modifications, which I can do on my Ross, she does turn faster. Somewhat sizably so. So I hesitate to say this. At the moment, I think she's bugged, and I think her turn rate can't be modified. But that will be something to report and hopefully get looked in at. Right. Now the other things I want to quickly bring up with you guys is what comes with previous Galaxies and this ship in general. It's got a good console in essence, but you can also utilize other consoles on it. If you want to utilize the source of separation, however, at the moment, I'll tell you right now, you can't. You can equip it, you can activate it, you can deactivate it, but it changes nothing. Nothing is triggered. Unfortunately, and this is half of why I think the actual speed and turn rate is bugged. When you activate this console, it will act like it's deploying, and then suddenly the saucer will snap back onto the neck, and it will be telling you it's separated, but you will not have the saucer pet, and you will not have any of the alterations that should happen to your ship. Auxiliary subsystem down, shield system down, weapon systems up. None of that happens. None of it changes. So that's bugged at the moment. You can always use these consoles on this ship if you want to. Not sure why you would at this point, because two are sub tier 6, so no passives, and the actual only passive you do get, although it's +5 to all power systems, it doesn't really stack with other max increases. So that's kind of a nih one to me. Then you've also got the supplemental systems you get from the Dreadnought Cruiser that you can equip to the ship, and of course you can now also equip. Oh no, it's still only Galaxy class variants, but the cloak can now be equipped to any ship. So this ship has always been able to cloak if you wanted it to, but this is just a better cloak. Well, sorry. you can now just equip any cloak to it. To the ship in question, as you can tell, I'm actually using consoles from other ships on this, well, other ships of the bundle on this ship to get the most out of it, because I ended up deciding I wasn't exactly happy with it. Oh, that's a really good selection. It's actually comparing them to the other two consoles you get from, well, two of the other consoles you get from this bundle. Good, thank you. Yes, you should do that, because this, what you get with this ship is the destabilized dimensional rip, which gives you plus 12.8% to phaser damage, 12.8% to radiation damage, and plus 21.4 to your Starship exotic particle generations. Overall, that is actually a very good console, passive-wise. Mostly because you're boosting radiation damage, but you'll be boosting radiation damage as well anyway from your exotic particle generations. It's actually a very good EPG boost. If you're using biomolecular phasers, you'd find you're boosting both the radiation damage of them and the phaser damage of them with this console. It is actually very good passive-wise, especially in the right situation. The problem is the destabilized dimensional rift, which projects a sphere of energy directly ahead of your ship. While the rift is moving, foes hit with it will take 15,455 radiation damage and be banished for 10 seconds. The rift will then, after travelling 8 kilometers, expand, affecting foes within 6 kilometers of itself rather than the original 2.5 kilometer cylinder it flies down initially. And at that point of expanding to 6 kilometers, the foes that are hit by it will take 6,657.8 radiation damage and be banished for 5.4 seconds. Your stats may vary a little bit, as well. I am boosting exotic damage in some areas, so my stats are a little bit higher than they would be at base, I think. I haven't got it equipped, so I'm not 100%. The game can't seem to make up its mind whether or not it's going to show base stat or full stat depending on equipment. Now, as you can probably guess, the damage side of this console is actually really good, but the banish is the negative. For a start, the enemies that take this damage will take that damage and then banish. Not be banished and then when they come back take the damage. Now, if they were banished then came back and took the damage, it still receives the same outcome in the end anyway. You know why? Because for that period they're banished for, you can't target those enemies, and they will begin to recover health. Without this console being extremely heavily boosted, what you actually end up with is a console that should only be used to deal that last portion of damage that takes the enemy out, because otherwise by the time they're back the damage it's dealt is been null and void, and all you've really done is made one of your enemies untargetable for 10 seconds. Which is the appalling active ability. If they wanted to make this better, what they should have done is when the enemy is banished, they continue to take even further damage while banished. And all you do is you see a proc tricking up that just says banished enemy taking this much damage. And when they've done that, perfect. They come back, they're actually weaker than when you sent them away. This console needs a buff. It needs a really big buff. If not that being buffed, the passives need buffing. Especially when you consider that the other consoles on screen right now will absolutely demolish anything that console can do. And it's not even damage boosting in that. It's just flight speed or hull capacity and oh no, you got projectile damage boosting. Yeah, all damage with projectiles. So it boosts itself. Good. Final score on that console, the Destabilized dimensional rip. 3 out of 10. And the only reason it achieved 3 is because it's got relatively good passives. The active absolutely ripped it apart. It's not worth it. 3 out of 10. So let's talk controlled aggression. Activating a temporal operative or a universal console will grant a control expertise boost based on your EPG. Now, this console sounds bad, but actually, this trait sounds bad, but actually, since the two kind of go hand in hand, I would say it's really good. You see, typically speaking, control boats, which will get the best out of this, will focus heavily on boosting their control output. But here's the thing. You can get, in most situations, your bridge officer's recharge to be on universal, and therefore, the moment the ability is deactivated, you can reactivate it. Doing that with temporal bridge officer abilities on this would mean that this, as it has no cooldown period for the trait, could be kept up permanently. If you then compare that in with the fact that if a control boat was to, say, take less of his focus on boosting his control output and boost on his EPG, he hasn't really lost any control output so long as he can keep this trait up at all times. To make things even better, and this is where I think things really do work for this trait, it's actually far easier in most situations to boost both EPG and control with the right universal consoles that you're already using to deal the EPG damage or your space wizardry damage, while simultaneously the control boat will get the added benefit of, by boosting exotic damage so much more, any control ability he tricks off, such as gravitational well, will start dealing further exotic damage. In other words, this is one of those traits that actually augments and improves something we've already always had to consider. It's not a trait for everyone. If you are a tank, no way in hell consider this trait. If you are DPS, space DPS, exotic damage builds specifically, again, I would probably say, if you're using control abilities quite frequently for your exotic damage, then consider it then, but even then you may want to give it a pass. But for control and EPG boats, this is, personally speaking, a go-to console. Go-to trait. I keep saying console, I'm annoyed at myself now. As a result, for science control boats and EPG control boats, really they're the same thing, I'm sorry, I will give this trait 9.5 out of 10. And that's only because, unfortunately, this trait is not that powerful. If it completely negated, if you could take your control expertise away, focus on purely EPG, and you would find that you actually lost nothing from your control expertise, then this trait would have gotten 10 out of 10 from me, and I would have screamed at you all, this is a meta control EPG trait, you must use this. But it doesn't. In fact, it's slightly short. You may want to focus a little bit on maintaining control abilities, just to, if you're a control boat, just to even it out. But it's good. It will mean the control boats will be able to considerably do more damage. And that's why I like this trait. However, overall score of this trait, because it really is a set situation and use for the trait, and I've always been negative on that, I can't just give this trait a pass because it's on the Galaxy class. So, yeah, 5 out of 10 for the trait overall. That is purely because it's such a set environment you would use this trait in. Sorry, Galaxy, I'm sorry, but I've got to be fair. Now, talking of all that aside, it really is kind of upsetting to see that this Galaxy class didn't get what it deserved. Really should have had more chance to deal more damage. I was hoping for this Galaxy class to be closer in the lines of the Gargarin and the Arbiter. I didn't care if it really got weakened for any support capabilities, or if its tankiness was dropped down quite sizably. I was just really hoping it would be a Galaxy class that basically went, haha, I may not be the Dreadnought, but I can hit you 10 times harder. That's what I was hoping from it. We didn't quite get it. Let's take a look at customization before I take an reaction, because you may be surprised. While we run to it, hear me out on this, okay? Because I do honestly think you might be surprised. Though this ship has not got that power it should have had DPS wise, it hasn't actually lost any power against the others from what I've been able to draw out of it. Now the build I'm using on it is a fire at will broadside build. Oh, ain't she beautiful? Yes, there's ways to get better builds out of her, but you'll see that when she's in action. Now, quick notes to make here. When you get the Cygnus, you do not gain access to all visual types. So you do not have all the options to play with. I am sorry. Oi, put my fleet emblem on it. Yes. What you get is the... hang on, I've got to make sure I show the right ones. Mirror Cygnus, of course. Andromeda Mirror. If you can't tell what the differences are between the two, just watch the saucer a second, and, well, you want to watch the forward part of the saucer. I'm sure you will notice that. Forward part of the saucer. Put it like that, it'll be easier to see them all. Keep your eyes on the forward segment of the brassards, the basic shape of the secondary hull, and the forward segment of the saucer. It's actually the upper section of the saucer as well, but you'll see it in just a second. Dink! The pylons get thicker, the nacelles get more armoured-ish. The body of the Andromeda is now made to be more in line with that of the Galaxy. To show you. Hopefully you can see it happening in each one. Which I quite approve of. And of course you get the part on the top of the ship. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you get... sorry. You get the Mirror Cygnus, the Mirror Andromeda, the Cygnus for the Federation, and the Galaxy Mirror, along with the normal ones that you acquire, which is the Galaxy. So basically, anything that is non-Zen-Store. Also, you also acquire access to the Monarch. And I think... no, they've removed one. Oh, that's... that... How could you do that? You used to have pylons that you could put on the ship. Oh, it was the Monarch. Oh, okay. So yeah, they didn't remove it. Thank God for that. Here you go. If you want tilted pylons, you can have tilted pylons. Those are the ones you get with it. If you want access to either... sorry, I've now got to find them. The Ross, you require the Legendary Pack. And if you want access to the Venture, you require the Venture from the store line, Zen Store. This is actually now a dilithium ship. And finally, if you want access to the Andromeda skin, I do believe you need to purchase the Andromeda or the Legendary. Also, sorry, the Venture comes in the Legendary as well. Right. Other things to quickly note here is we have the Defiant, the Galaxy, the Intrepid, the NX refit, the Sovereign refit, and your Terran hull types, which do not fucking work on this you! So I'm so mad at those hulls. But hey, it's safe to say these all look pretty good. It's quite fun them flicking on, say... Oop, hang on. Sovereign refit is bugged. Is Sovereign bugged? No, Sovereign is not bugged. Thank God for that. So Sovereign refit is bugged. You can't acquire that on the ship at the moment. Interesting. Things to note for them. You could always have a bit of fun and give it the Type 7A hull. Yeah, there's plenty of nice looks for the ship, so we can give it that, right? Okay. Let's go into action. I think I've spoken long enough here. Okay, so here we go. Oh, hello, Bell. Don't mind him. Oh yes, this is my first ship that actually has been modified with the bridge officers it's using. Don't know if it's completely obvious down here, but I'm trying to augment myself out a bit better. You know, superior Romulan operative, Jem'Hadar's boosting in their way. I've actually got 3 Jem'Hadar on this ship for once because I've gone more tactical. Speaking of more tactical, hang on. We'll reverse that speed. I'm not going to get this show what this ship can really do this way, but I believe it's a necessity I show you the console in action. Now, where's it gone? Is that it there? Yes, it is. Oh, why not? While I'm at it, because I'm here. Why not? Why not? I can't spell demo record. Do you mind? Of course they would. Of course they would. Well, check out my turn rate. Yink! See, this is modified as best as I could get my turn rate to. And, well, it says it all really, doesn't it? Now, I'm considerably laughing at the fact that it's already taken damage. But let's rock around and go! How many did I get? Do I get all 3? Yeah! Let's see how much health they come back with. Now, awkward. Look how little damage each one took. Such a problem. Eat my weapons, you dumb, stupid things. Now, luckily for me, I'm a broadside fire at will build. And with the temporal abilities, this just means I can start being a pain in the rear. Also using the right consoles on the ship, such as the one you get with the Odyssey class. Hello, hello, hello. You can deal some sizable damage in crowds. So this ship does still function really well as a tank. It's just... its maneuverability is a huge letdown. And I don't think I can forgive that about the ship. I expected more from her. Whoa! Hello. Didn't quite mean to do that. Goodbye. As you can see though, she is relatively powerful in her own right. It's just... If you're going to go with a broadside build, there's no real point in having a forward biased attacking arc. It's just foolishness at that point. I want to see if I can hit him. Way! I think I actually affected him there. Huh. Goodbye. Ow! There should be some more enemies around here somewhere. Where are they? Hello? Hello, my little friends. I'm not trying to fly past to get to the bigger bad boy that's over there. I want the other ones that's over here. Wait a sec. So in the process of what I did there, without really realizing it, I've already destroyed the other Jem'Hadar fighters. I don't know when that happened. It's news to me. I'm not complaining. That kind of says something for DPS potential of the ship, but unfortunately that says something for DPS potential of the fire at will on this ship. I've had to stop myself here. I've had to stop and let myself take a step back and think. And I'm being serious, I've had to step back and think. So, I am in agreement with a lot of the other people that have tested this ship. But I'm also willing to argue that there is potential in her. There's reasons to purchase her. Case in point, the most important one is the fact that of all the ships, she is definitely superior to the previous Andromeda or the Fleet Andromeda. She's better than both of them. She costs the same to acquire essentially, but she's better than both, and if you buy her in the bundle, you get a lot of good right alongside her. So she is effectively a good option. A good ship if you want a galaxy. Now, if you already have the legendary Ross, then I will honestly say you probably got a better ship. If you consider the fact that overall, the Galaxy class, all of them are 100% broadside oriented ships. The turn rate is too low, and augmenting it is very tricky. And let's see, your typical broadside build will take advantage of maybe a torpedo at the back, torpedo at the front, and then you'd have 6 single beams. So what does this mean? It normally means front and back you have 4 weapons. And it normally means that side to side you have 6. Some people go for 4 energy, no torps. Then they have 4 and 4 and 8 and 8. Okay, fine. Overall, broadside benefits from that kind of thing. Definitely benefits. That's not to say though that this ship can't be considered a prospect to broadside builds. Now, yes, as far as that goes, it's not really got the firepower at the aft. And with its lower turn rate, that can be a problem if an enemy gets behind you. But was that really a problem for ships like, well, your atypical Klingon vessel? Or is it a problem if you go into the Star Wars universe and look at the goddamn... oh, what is it? Imperial Star Destroyer? I mean, yes it is. It's a massive blind spot from behind, but it's still intimidating. And let me point it out this way then. My build doesn't utilize energy at the peak. My build has a Omni on the aft, 1 Omni on the aft, and then it utilizes 1 torp on the front. The rest are singular beams. This results in my side, left and right, being 7 and 7 rather than 8 and 8. How am I achieving that? Well, because I don't have a torp on the rear. So, the extra beam is benefiting my forward arc. Or the extra Omni is. I could have put singular beams on the back and gone with 3, but I'd still be 7 and 7 on the sides, and my aft would be weaker, which is why I've got an Omni on the rear. 2 Omnis on the rear, I could really augment this up a bit higher, I will admit. I could have given myself a total firing forward arc of 7 weapons, the same as left and right if I'd gone for Omnis. With 2 Omnis, that would have resulted in a aft 3, then a front left right 777. Which would be very strong in a broadside build. My argument I'm trying to make here is that there is a place for this ship in its build style. Though its maneuverability is very weak, it doesn't mean this ship isn't without firepower. It's just time and thought, and are you okay sacrificing a little bit of energy here to augment there? This leads to a final scoring of this. I'm actually going to skip DPS, although that's what I'm focusing on here. We're going to go to, first of all, support. This ship is better than both the other tier 6 galaxies in support. It's definitely better than both of the dreadnoughts in support. As a result, I will bend the knee and give it a little bit of extra score. My final score for its support-wise, thanks to its temple seat in Universal Lieutenant Commander, is... someone's going to shoot me for this. 7 out of 10. And yeah, I'm probably playing a bit of favoritism with the Galaxy class. But this is mostly for its endurance and the fact that it can render support. It's a big weakness stopping it from going any higher is the fact that it only has 3 silence consoles naturally, and its turn rate is too low and its speed is too low to really be an effective on-the-scene support. It's a bit slow to their mark. Not a problem though. To counter this, then we go to tank. Now, I am going to take into account the fact that I have seen other players with their builds on this ship finding a bit of difficulty with durability. I'm not sure if that's a bug alongside the turn rate, but suffice to say, with its 1.525, it should be at least almost on par. Well, with its shields being a 1.25, it should be almost on par, if not on par, with the legendary Ross for tanking. The bridge officer layouts support this as well, the engineering consoles support this, and the actual plus power to shields will support the tankiness. It also has effective firepower in use that it can delve out a huge amount of threat, tactically speaking, and make sure it maintains the primary target. Now, I've not had overall too much problem with durability with this ship. In the areas I've taken it into, I've taken some damage. I'm a little bit uncomfortable with how easily it took the damage, considering its stats. But I'm not going to be too negative on that factor. The durability could do with actually showing its true nature. I mean, I can think of other ships with the same durability hull modifier that easily tank more damage than this ship does. But my final score tanking wise for this ship is 8 out of 10. The reason it has not been able to score higher is because there is that factor where I am seeing other players having trouble with durability, and I'm questioning that. I want to know why. Now, from there, we'll go to DPS. Side DPS is out the window. Yeah, it can go along the lines of exotic builds and take advantage of such. Awkwardly, for some reason, the trait that's with the ship wants to help out that kind of thing, but you won't be using that trait with this ship, but yeah, maybe to another ship. That trait in hand, though. Yeah, this ship's side DPS side of things a little bit low. Actual DPS side of things, although it struggles to really take advantage of itself being a battlecruiser, I guess you could say this is the first wide-arcing battlecruiser. One that really wants to hit at all angles, so long as it's still charging in the action. And most of the time, you are flying towards the enemy, so having most of your weapons at the front is not a problem, broadsiding as well. For me, this means one simple thing for the ship. The DPS ain't actually that bad. And thus, I will give it... I will give it 7.5 out of 10. The things that are holding its DPS back is the fact that its two typical tactical seats are only lieutenants. It has 3 tactical consoles without upgrading the ship, and its turn rate is so low that utilizing its full might and power that it could have isn't actually there. Lord have mercy, it may be able to equip dual cannons, but I would not recommend equipping dual cannons to this ship. Definitely do not recommend dual cannons on this vessel. Dual beams, yeah, they've got a bit of a better arc of fire. Do not look at dual cannons. My final score for this ship, well, when it comes down to it, she is a bit of a visual spectacle, isn't she? She is a very cheap way of getting a very powerful ship. And in fact, since she's at least on par, she is on par with the legendary Ross. If the Ross doesn't have just that bit more DPS potential, this is going to result in my final score for the Cygnus being, and yes, call it favoritism if you want, but because it's from a Zen store, it costs 3,000 Zen at normal price, £21, or part of a good bundle that gives you lots of benefits, and because this ship actually is on par with the legendary, if not still in its shadow, I will give this ship 8.5 out of 10. It is gaining, I'll be honest, 2.5 just because it is such a cheap ship to obtain that is at least able to keep up with a far more expensive ship to obtain, and because it doesn't shy away from trying to be better. The only thing it got wrong was its turn rate, in my opinion. That and its durability, but having a high durability isn't a bad thing. So, hey, if it didn't have a high durability, the tanking score would have come down, so let's be fair with it, okay? Let me know what you think of this ship. Were you disappointed, underwhelmed? Doesn't mean to say I won't fly this ship. I'm definitely going back to my Ross. But hey, I guess that means I get to keep this ship looking like this. I can fly my Ross that looks like a Galaxy class, and I can fly this ship for the fun of it. Maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe I'll get comfortable with its weak spots. We'll see. We'll see. For now, guys, thank you for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed this video and found it informative. I'm looking forward to reading your comments below. If you have found it helpful in any way and do wish to help the channel out, please consider hitting that like button or sharing this video out there to help it out on YouTube's algorithm. Makes a huge difference for the channel. And if you want to keep up to date on what I'm doing, see future videos, see the visual review of this ship, then maybe consider becoming a member of the ShadowStar crew by ringing the notification bell and subscribing to the channel. And can I also say a massive thank you to the bridge crew of ShadowStar, our generous either one-time or subscribed donation supporters of the channel, who are credited on screen right now. It is a necessity, I feel, that I say thank you to you guys, because I couldn't be doing this without that support. It means the world to me, and you guys are helping me towards eventually achieving full time. If you guys wish to become a member of the bridge crew, then please check out the links below. You do not have to. I will continue to put these videos out nonetheless. I look forward to seeing you all in the future. Until then, live long and prosper. And long live the Empire.